Hi, everybody, and welcome to End of the Rainbow, our streaming rainbow show where we review the last campaign that we've been working on. Uh, we've got things to discuss, and we've got questions that Laura has drawn from the viewers like you. And I'll quit talking, and we can get into it.
I felt lonely.
Here are the things. Here are the things on my desk.
Here is my Thor's hammer from God of War.
Very nice.
It was a little Easter egg in the back through all the episodes. Hanging out on my
I love it.
little bookshelf.
Speaking of props.
I think it's cool there was a question that only our just the most patient GM can answer. Because this is all about why Sera chose the fate system. So this is from Courtney Interrupted. Thank you, Courtney, for the comment. What made you choose the fate system for Halley's children?
That's an easy question to answer because it's a very boring answer. I wanted to do a supers game, superheroes, supervillains, whatever. And the only system that I knew that I didn't have to learn that would be good for a supers game was the fate system. So that's what I went with.
I think that's a great answer. I've really enjoyed the fate system. This has really been my first experience, not with fate obviously, but with anything that isn't D&D. So it is really cool how fate can be so flexible with, especially with storytelling. So I know I've enjoyed it, and also it's just the math though, the ladder, like, still I have to have a ladder up in front of me, and like I have to like go up and down with my finger because I'm special. I don't know.
I'm just not good at memorizing all the names.
Yeah, that's the
Like, one name correlates to the pluses. I love the minimal math element though. Though I will say I have gotten good at simple math. You know,
my favorite part about it. Well, one, I think like everybody in the TTRPG space right now, right? It was very important to step away from D&D and showcase some of these other systems that are very fun and very cool. And this was one that I like, in addition to the simple math. And obviously, I love the stunts. Super dig half Thor's skill set. To me, my favorite part about the fate system though, is the adaptable, the aspects, right? The idea that depending on what is around you or what's the scene setting, or what your character's good at, it's more vague and broad in a way that feels more human, right? Like I think me and Laura were talking about this for a different campaign, but it was the idea of you can be good at convincing people of stuff in a very narrow way. And D&D can't really reflect that, right? Either you have that like plus 12 proficiency, expertise bonus plus 5, or you don't. But there's a ton of people who are really good at their profession and then just want to go home and can't really talk, right?
Yeah.
I think in D&D it's really like hard to finagle a character to really encompass a storytelling game, but Fate definitely seems more like a story being told than like a war being won or like little battles being fought.
100%.
And that's why I really like it. It's so good. It's like we're all like part of it.
We love Fate here.
Absolutely. Stand fate.
Stand fate. Hashtag stand fate. Stand up for fate.
Hashtag non-spawn, but open. The DMs are open.
Hey, yeah.
DMs are open. Look, get in my DMs, get in my GMs, get in my BMs. I'll digest you, baby.
Anti. And
this is this
is not an opinion shared by all. This is only
As
1/4
you can
of the.
see, it's not just Anush that's a villain, but it is Cameron that's a menace.
It is true.
I've always said that if I had superpowers, I would be a super villain. But let's break that down, okay?
No. Let's move on to
What
the
is
next question.
good and
This is
evil?
not
Oh,
a
next question.
therapy
Okay, yeah,
session.
next question. Yeah, next question.
No, actually, I think that this isn't a question, but I think I'm really curious about what made everybody choose the character that they chose.
Yeah.
Because I know why Ida is the way Ida is, but I want to hear like the thought process that you guys went through. So whoever
Well,
wants to go first,
why don't
hashtag
you
got it.
start us off with Ida?
Oh, fine. Okay. Uh, so I have always been really interested. My personal storytelling that I like to do is on a very like small level. Like I've never been big on the grandiose things. Like I like slice of life stories. And when Sera came forward with this idea for this campaign and like where it is, I was trying to think of what kind of character would find compelling in 1066 in the Battle of Hastings, and what would be the biggest growth, or whatever. So with Ida, it was like, what would be the most interesting character? And being a poor woman, a girl, um who with a brother who got taken away, and with all these things, it there's a lot of growth there. And growing up as a girl, I have felt that powerlessness. And it's like, how do you take that power? And also, how do you deal with something that, I mean, it wasn't really talked about in the 4 sessions that we've had, but it's going to be explored much more moving forward, is this feeling of not fitting in your own body for Ida. Um, and there was a level of wrongness that Ida always felt, but could never put a word to. And why would she? Because she was more worried about getting food on the table and like not getting taken. There's a lot more like pressing problems. But now she has eternal life. She can turn into anything, and she can kind of go whatever and do whatever she wants. So it's like she has all these stressors have been taken off of her. So now she's going to have all this time to be like, what's wrong with me? So being able to explore that, and also the euphoria of being somebody who is non-binary or trans or anything, like, how would that feel to feel so wrong in your body, suddenly be given the gift of being able to actually make yourself into exactly what you want to look like?
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. But after an eternity, how amazing is it? It's just like, it's something that I was really excited to focus on for Ida. And also, she just has so much growth potential. I mean, in that last episode, we saw her go from very street smart but not intelligent whatsoever to all of a sudden she's like, yeah, okay, Anoush. Like, we get it. So yeah, that was it was so Ida was about taking power, and um kind of, what do you do when you get a gift horse? Like, do you look it in the mouth, or do you accept it as it is? So that was Ida.
In
Next.
1066, you write it into its death in battle.
Yeah, or it's a cat or a horse, a cat or a horse.
All right. That's okay.
So Hafthor, why Hafthor?
Well, so let me tell you, viewers, there was 2 versions of Half-Thor. I initially had wanted to play this idea of someone forced into responsibility. Uh, as much as me and Laura are friends, we have very opposite philosophies when it comes to this kind of stuff. I love big. I love the intersection between the personal and the political, right? I love the idea of how do our choices day to day, how do like local elections end up affecting uh, crazy stuff for the most amount of lives around us for the most amount of time, right? Um, and so I wanted to create a character who could see, who was sort of always running from responsibility and forced into doing more. Uh, in my head, he was like a wild child who had no intention of staying loyal to the Earl of Umbria, and then his dad died and he was forced into that, right? He never had a plan to be ambitious, but he just kept winning little battles, and so then became a threat and was forced into this mission. He never really wanted to be involved, but he felt a responsibility to the people, right? Once they were taken and whatever. And even in the end there, right, at that last episode, he was sort of never, if Ida would have never came found him, or he never would have heard another thing, he probably would have just every 10 to 20 years sold the fishing company to himself, disappeared for a few years, popped in with a new crew, right? Um, so I liked that idea, right, of the what's the responsibility, what's the moral and societal responsibility that comes with this kind of power. I'm Uncle Ben. With great power comes great responsibility, right? I realized I
Oh,
just
I was gonna say
really,
you can't say that, dog.
I just went the long way around on that.
I'm glad you specified.
Yeah, and so yeah, it's kind of that idea, right? But I guess in a longer form. And then, so to be clear though, one big change in Half Thor was I wanted him to be crazy, a little more unhinged, a little more wild child. And there's always this, to me, there's this argument of like, well, you should just play how you want to play. Well, the way I want to play is telling a cool story. So
Mhm.
party composition really matters to me, and I'm more flexible in that way. So when Anoush made the decisions they made in session one, and then it was truly though the tipping point was the moment that Ida said, punched, turned into Half Thor, punched Pagan in the face, and said, "We're all the priest," and ran away. I was like, I cannot play this guy a loose kingdom. There's no, like, there
Listen,
has to be, right, there has to be a tension of conflicts, so he needs to be, and then like, so that's why to me I think that's why session one's a little awkward for me a little bit. I was like trying to refine, like, okay, like on the fly adjusting what his motivations, make him a little more grounded, a little more whatever, uh, um, salty, grumpy, and not as. And I think that I felt like that would provide a much more, because I think tension is where story grows, right? And so the tension between uh, Half Thor's, like, I'm kind of over this, it's fine, let's just go, and Ida's wide-eyed optimism, and then Anush's obvious, like, let's call it toxic positivity, created I think a good mixture that by the time we got to episode 4 felt really cool. So
yeah.
that was my thought process behind Half Thor.
Hey, Anoush.
It's my
Cam, play
turn.
Anoush.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
so I think so initially we got like the concept of the game, and we knew that no matter like what powers they had, they were going to like live forever,
Mhm.
like stay ageless and move through like time. And my thought was, okay, I'm an agent of chaos. How do I make this the hardest on myself? So I gave myself like the least amount of power. I'm like, okay, so we already have this, so why don't I just like make this thing that we already have like my superpower? But like in reality, Anush's superpower is not like the healing factor. It's everything he's learned and everything he will continue to learn, and how he can like manipulate the world around him, just from like an academic standpoint. And then I started thinking of like the time period. I was like, okay, like who am I in relation to this time period? Like I don't know a lot about like Hastings or like Haley's Comet or like the Anglified like history, but like my dad was an immigrant from Iran, and I was like, that would be cool to just like lean into like normalcy like itself. Like what do I like as Cameron like bring to this table, and how can I like meld the two? Because I've always like loved that question. of what superpower would you have.
Mhm.
And like personally, I would go Mr. Fantastic, like Plastic Man, like because that encompasses like so much, like very much like the Ida like transformative element, and can do like so much versatility in that. So I wanted to kind of like play against that and like stick like quote unquote like a normal person in there. Uh, and like not only that, but like Anush's like, oh, he's like taught by a ghost, and like is very much like a nod to uh um oh like Klaus in the Umbrella Academy. So I thought it was like a cool little thing to do, and I didn't really know what he was gonna be until we literally started like going. I was like, I know he's like learned, I know he has a goal, I know he has like a little brother, um, but I don't know how he's gonna interact with these characters. And it was pretty eye opening. It was really cool, like really eye opening how like this world shaped this. I think he's literally the oldest
Yeah.
player character. Not gonna lie, he's not a little dude. He's like 30 something, as
Mhm.
opposed to like almost 20, mid 20s. But yeah, I think it's like a pretty simple like character concept. Just wanted to make it hard on myself, and God did I fail. Uh, just
I want to know, Sarah, what your reaction was when Cam came to you and said, "Hear me out. It's a ghost." Like when he said ghost teacher, were you like, "The fuck?" But okay.
Whether the ghost was real or not was very much in question until that last episode.
because I the literal thing I wrote in my backstory was he's definitely not like tutored by a ghost or something. So he didn't
I
have to be real.
I'm very interested to find out, and I'm not asking you to give anything away, but there was this one check, and it's if there was like a legendary resistance, we'll call it, that I could have chose to pass, it would have been the first time Hathor reads Anusha's mind. Cameron said he hears Anusha's voice and maybe another one, and then you made me roll notice, and we tied, and I was like, damn it.
It was in session 2.
And I didn't want to meta it, but every single time I went into Anusha's brain, I was like, please just beat it by like a legendary or something. I need to hear this other voice. What the fuck is going on?
I think that's an interesting like looking back at all the videos. I don't think Halfthor was like. I think every like a good chunk of the times you failed your checks was interacting with Anush, and I
Yeah,
think that's
Mhm.
so interesting.
it was the like a lot of times it would reach out to Anush and it would just fail. And I kept looking to see if I rolled like a bunch of fours because I was gonna see, okay, if it's like a plus plus, I'm gonna bug Sarah a little bit of like, okay, do I hear the echo? But truly, almost every single time we like tapped into each other, it was like a -2 or like broke even or whatever, and it was just like didn't. It was always like just right there at the edge of being able to get in there.
If
And
only
now
it had worked in the church where Anush was screaming in his own head to Hathor, we're being chased, we're being chased. We would have heard the ghost teacher.
So funny.
If only it worked that way.
Ghost is
What
always
was?
with
I
you.
have a question for Sarah before we get to the second,
Yeah.
third, and however many we're gonna get through of the viewer questions.
Mhm.
What was the most? Oh shit! Like, what do we do from here? What was the moment that made you have to think on your feet the most?
The end, the episode 4, um, because I just could not predict. I couldn't prepare. I couldn't prepare for
Yeah,
what you guys were going to do. I had some scenes set up. I had some things to guide you through the ages and stuff, but like I had an ending set up, but it just didn't work. Like,
Yeah.
so I ended up just sort of, that's my probably my greatest regret for Halley, Children, Hastings is like, I just sort of ended up sort of stumbling over the ending because I had an ending set up, but it just wasn't going to work with the way you guys were going.
Can you
So
tell
we
us
had,
what it was, or would it
Yeah,
lead
I
to?
want to know what the ending
Is
was.
it,
No,
What
would
was
it be
our
no, no.
ending?
spoilers?
no, I was going to have the orb sort of sprout some information. It was going to be interesting.
My first. Oh, this is gonna be good. I can't wait till we play again.
I blame Halflor for leaving.
Halfthor has plans for the orb.
Plan.
Ida is intrigued by Robert. Like she wants to like. So here's my question: was Robert checking in too? Because uh, Edmund and Otto were going around, and was he, or did he go to the safe? What was the safe house? It was who was it? The woman that
Yeah,
has
the Iron
the
Rose.
pub in London.
Mm-hmm.
Does Robert go there?
Yes.
Oh, I mean, it's a safe place. It's a no man's land. So that
Mm-hmm.
it
I don't,
is.
I
I
don't
don't
trust
know.
that guy.
No one does. He can know everything.
No, I don't trust that guy. What did he do to that orb? Why is it going to sprout information? Oh my gosh. I need a
So
It's
core.
the
not gonna
orb is just
not gonna
still
do
in
anything.
Anusha's property, right? Like
I
he's
have
got
the
it.
orb. Yeah. But here's the thing: we've missed orbs, possibly.
Yeah,
Like we didn't like we're picking up in like 15th century.
yeah. So we
So
missed quite a few.
I
like
thought
we
it was
missed the Genghis
14.
Khan one. 15th century, 1400s, right?
Oh no, that's what I'm saying. I thought it was 1300. Is it 1400?
Is that the
1456.
14th,
1456.
15th century? Yeah.
14.
Yeah, but like I was gearing up for I was ready for the Genghis Khan one because that was
Mm.
very interesting to me.
Yeah.
And oof, a noosh with Genghis Khan. I got some dreams cooking up. That's an alternate
Full
reality
Mulan.
right there. I would go. I would not go full Mulan.
Well, instead you're gonna deal with the Ottoman Turks.
Uh-oh.
I'm.
Okay,
I
to the
God,
viewers.
I don't like the Turks. The Turks, my arch nemesis.
What
What
else we got?
to the viewers? What?
What the?
Yeah, does anybody else have a question? I mean, we've got a couple more questions, but does anybody else have any
I think
pressing?
we I think we were all kind of not stumbling, but like maybe like reaching in the dark during that last maybe because we didn't know how much time was going to be. What do
Yeah.
you like? What's the thing? Um, not that Sarah has said this, but like, okay, so you have 300 years. What's the next? Like, if there's a skill you could take that you don't have, like, what's the thing you would be working on? Because like for me, I think Hathor is working on. He's realizing. I think there would be like two things. I think like skill wise, it would be empathy or rapport, the ability, and it's probably rapport. He wants the ability to be a good leader
Mm-hmm.
because he thinks that he has a plan to beat Robert, and he knows like there's no way he could do it himself. And then the second thing would be working on a plan to beat Robert if Robert makes like a move. But he's very, very
I
skilled.
terrifying. I think Ida's been doing it. I think Ida is just voraciously taking in education. Like she is not going to be because like as funny as I was making it of like Ida doesn't get the joke, like she's very literal. She's like, I don't know anything. Like, what does extraterrestrial mean? Like, she's like, she does not, she can't read or write. Like in the first campaign, she can't read, she can't write. She just takes everything as what she's been told. So I think that I mean, as we saw, she like just like took it on. Like she was a sponge for knowledge. Um, but I also think that she would then hone her using that ability. She would hone her ability to take things in as far as like people, so like the psychology of people and knowing why that. So that was also she never wants to feel like she's missing out again, as far as like something going over her head. because she felt like that a lot. As much as she does consider Anoush and Halfthor brothers at this point, like their family, even as messed up as it is, as like so many years of not seeing Halfthor, and then even so many years of like Anoush being this distant, separated thing, they were the family she knows. But she still felt like they're playing keep away with information above her head that she just was never going to get because she just wasn't smart enough to get it. So that's what she's been working on, is like being smarter, but also like really taking on that chameleon aspect of like, so Hathor was the half-ass spy in campaign 1. She's like working to become a
Yeah.
spy, like of like being able to take on any accent, languages, like she's going to be able to a polyglot, and like she can understand everything, and like she's going to do everything she can to fit into any role that she needs to moving forward, for sure.
It's a good question. So Anoush's, like, though he had that like initial connection with like Ida and Halfthor, I think the person he's definitely closest to now is Pagan, because they've been like this, like through the years, and like he has been like
Who's Pagan?
steadfast.
Son of a
Parrish?
Parrish, sorry.
There, sure.
I was
It is
thinking
truly
so
so
hard to get his name wrong.
emblematic, like perfect of Anoush's character that the person he's closest with, he got his name wrong for 200 years.
That's yeah, yeah, but so and weirdly enough, I don't. This doesn't give too much away, but the person he's most afraid of is Halfthor, not Robert, because he assumes Robert knows everything. But Halfthor has the ability to know everything, like even like my deepest, darkest like secrets, and like even like information about like my family, or like very like special like things to me. And I think like he has seen Halfthor not, like the only thing he's like seen is like Halfthor in a like a paranoid, like animalistic, like I have to do this so that we can all get out state, and like not show any restraint with his powers, only like grow with his powers. So like that is a big fear for him. So like I think the skills Anush really wants to like improve on are like deception and like and like rapport. Like deception and rapport to like, because he's got like that genius level intellect. So now he needs like, how do I get people to like be on my side? Because the whole first session was, he was like, I have these ideas, and everybody's like, that's absolutely insane. Why would you do that? As it was, it's just
Yeah, and I think really funnily, and it's just, I made the joke I think in session 4 that the campaign 4 of Haley's Children is just going to be like Anoush and Halfthor standing on 2 floating discs at the end of the world, like because I think in an opposite way, but of the same thought, Halfthor probably tried at first, right, for maybe like 30 or 40 years, and was like, I'm gonna like outsmart Anoush, and I was like, I can't. So the way that I'm gonna like the best thing I could do is be his friend, and his hope that I can be close enough that if he makes a move, I'm close enough for
yeah.
like dagger range or whatever. You know what I mean?
And to be honest, you're the only thing that can bring him down. Like because you don't have to kill him to stop him.
Yeah.
And that's terrifying. Like especially somebody who's like lived in this like bubble of longevity, for somebody to be able to just pop it. And like very much like if you've seen Heroes, Adam being trapped in a box, like hundreds of feet below the earth.
I've never seen
like
Heroes.
those types.
Have you seen Highlander yet? Because that is what my vibe is for this story.
Inside joke, guys.
You can cut. Is it like cut him up and scatter him across the world so he can never reform?
No,
like that shit's scary too. Okay.
Yeah.
No.
Like those are the types of things he's like thinking ahead of and trying to prevent.
Hathor's trying to win with the power of friendship against Anush.
Same with Ida.
We're all trying to win with the power of friendship.
Except
No,
friendship
you're
means
not. You're trying to
differently,
use
different things to
fucking
all three of
blood
us.
magic.
Friendship is magic.
Blood magic. Friendship is blood magic.
I think this question from a TikTok user 8V Lex back. Not saying that right, but I think this goes well with this conversation, which is who in the party would your character trust the most with their life? Because I think that at the beginning of this campaign, my answer would have been different. But so I think Cameron, you basically just said that it's Pagan. Like that's who would you trust with your life?
Within the party?
Who would a Noosh trust? Just I don't think it needs to be who in the I guess within the party, but like Pagan's kind of in the party. Like, do we consider NPCs?
He's just an NPC, but he's gonna travel with us. He's gonna be there.
That's why you murdered him.
Dirty
Alfred.
Son of a bitch.
No, I think honestly, like Pagan definitely, like bodyguard status, right? Like he's my I am Artemis Fowl, and he's like the big guy, Butler,
the other guy,
and he's Butler. Yeah, and he's Butler. But within the core group, definitely Ida, hands down. I don't even.
We're all saying the same answer. It's Ida.
Yeah,
100%.
we're all going to say the same answer.
Yeah. At the beginning of the campaign, it was Ulf. Like he really that was obviously Hathor's main guy, his homie, his other half, his friendship soulmate. And then Ida 100%. But he also honestly, I was gonna say we talked about a little bit about like Anush playing quote unquote keep away of like education wise or like intellectually. Hathor probably is keeping emotional distance from Ida through the last 200 years. There's like always a gap. I think every time you guys get drunk together and do whatever, or like you get to that new town or you find that new thing that's fun, you always think like there's going to be a breakthrough. And whenever you're there, there's just, you reach to the void as opposed to another hand.
Yeah. I think it would have started at the beginning of it, literally at the beginning of it, Ida would have said both of you because you had her back. Like that was literally a thing. At the about halfway through session 4, absolutely Ulf. Ulf is like Ida was so sad when he left because he was so steadfast and so solid. I don't think Ida has anybody right now that she would trust with her life at the end of it because Hathor fucked off and left her alone with Anush, unarmed basically because she had nothing to like.
He left you armed with a 6'7" Norseman
who immediately left because you broke his heart.
Yeah. I don't think
also, you can have you can have as many arms as you want.
That's true.
That is also true.
Shiva. I'm gonna find other gods to become. I was like, I'm not gonna be Loki anymore. I'm gonna be Shiva.
I can't wait. Well, no, you can turn into like a Cthulhu. Come like 1960, you're like
viewers keep an eye.
Oh, that's disgusting and terrible.
The Eldritch Horror is Ida themselves.
100%. What could I become as new things are written?
Here we go.
And sometimes I just out of nostalgia become a fucked up bear.
Yeah.
Just I know what bears look like now, but I kind of want to become the fucked up bear because it's very funny. No, I think that right now she's not. She can't trust anybody. She's really becoming I'm in charge of my own destiny, and that is how it's going to be. So that's a very good question. Thank you, Alex, for that.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you, Alex. You know who you are.
From all of my hearts and all the ones I've cut out and kept in jars. Thank you, Alex. It's a joke.
It's a joke. It's all good. I think we want to start wrapping up. So I guess, Sera, what do you want to see with the second arc? what do you want to see in this next round whenever we get back to Halley's children?
I'm looking forward to you interacting with the fresh batch of empowered people and to perhaps previous batches. Who knows?
Ugh.
Babies.
Will you tell us how many previous batches there are?
I
Is it
will
every-
absolutely not tell you that.
Why would she tell you that?
Because I asked nicely.
That's never a good enough reason.
I want to.
It could be kindness.
I want to hang out with creepy eternal child Veermont, who can control the wind.
No, Veerman grew up. Veerman grew up.
Yeah.
No, yeah,
Veerman-
that's
Okay,
right.
how did he grow up? Because
Oh.
if we
Then he
don't
stopped.
age, how does when did
You're
he stop?
you're immune to like the deprecations of aging. You're not immune to growing up. Does that make sense?
Haha. It didn't
Oh.
make sense because you totally froze.
Yeah.
That's a good reason. No, you're immune to the deprecations
never
of
know.
aging. Did it happen again?
No. Go
No.
ahead.
We're immune to the deprecations of aging and what?
And you could, anyone who was a child could grow up. It doesn't stop growth and development. It just stops like the decay of your cells and that sort of thing.
Okay, so he gets to like
Oh.
the pinnacle. He just will never.
Yeah,
He'll-
So he looks
okay.
like, I
Fully
don't know,
developed.
whatever. What is it, like 28, they say, when you're physical? Like for a guy, I think that's when your testosterone starts to go down and all the like aging part happens.
Mhm.
That's where it
I just
starts.
I just really love
Well,
the
thanks for
idea
that.
of creepy Kirsten Dunst vampire, but
No.
Veermont.
No, I hate
I
that.
thought
I'm
about
so
doing
glad
that,
that.
and no.
No, yeah, I'm really glad Sarah didn't do that because that it still to this day haunts me about that story. To
The
this
Zach Oyama
day.
character in which campaign where he
Oh
was
my
the little
gosh,
vampire boy.
Vampire Run. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Coffin
No.
Run.
Coffin Run. Caffin Run.
Caffin Run.
Caffin Run. Cover your mouth. Coffin Run.
Is there anything else anybody wants to wrap up with? Yeah, Cameron.
I have a kitschy question. What would everybody's superpower be? If you could pick any superpower, what would you pick?
For ourselves?
For yourselves. I already told you, like Mr. Fantastic Plastic Man
Yeah.
stuff.
Sarah, start with Sarah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm trans. I'd shapeshift. Duh.
Okay.
Easy. Yeah.
Honestly, Ida is very similar to who I am inside. So yeah, Ida and I share that. I would like to be able to become anything I want to become. So
I would have similar powers to Hathor, but a little different, and it would be some like what's the name of the character from The Watchmen? The big bad.
Rorschach.
No, the big bad. Not the one I'm actually like. The one I want to be like.
Dr.
Alvin.
Manhattan?
No.
Dr.
The
Manhattan.
bad
Ooh,
guy.
I changed my answer. I want to be
Who
Dr.
tricks you.
Manhattan.
I'm
who
a bad
tricks
nerd. I
Dr.
didn't see
Manhattan.
Watchmen.
I can never remember his name. Oh my gosh.
I don't know. Really smart dude who goes to the moon or something, right?
No, Dr.
That guy?
Manhattan goes to Mars.
Yeah, Dr. Manhattan, but the other guy gets like slingshotted to the moon and makes a bunch of clones.
Viewers, welcome
Thanks,
to
Are you thinking of
what we
Ozymandias?
do. No, welcome to the behind the scenes. This is what we always do.
Ozymandias. That's his name.
Ozymandias. Got it.
Ozymandias,
Okay.
yeah, the guy who goes up to the moon and makes a bunch of clones of himself. Yeah, I get you. Like not close of himself, but like
I was gonna say that's not what happened.
workforce
So
that
that's why
tries to get him.
yeah.
You need to.
But he's the
watch
one who's
TV
he's
show.
the only one who can. He essentially right. The idea is he tricks God. Dr. Manhattan is God, and he has the mental capacity to make a plan so complicated and convoluted that he tricks God. I love that.
And then Laura turns into a wolf because the guys won't stop talking and goes to find Alfred. No, but is there anything else? Any other questions? That was a good question. Good job to Cameron for being able to separate himself from his characters, because I definitely am not good at that.
I would not want to have the power to just heal.
Yeah.
I think that is honestly the most boring power. Just like I said, why I picked it.
Yeah.
Also because you're literally the BBEG and Sarah doesn't know it yet.
Also, for our viewers, just as a general, if you're really itching for more Haley's Children and save you some questions or worry, it will probably be sometime in early 2024 that it comes back.
Itchin'.
Yes.
Just to
Itchin'.
Stay tuned.
give you a
Stay
little.
tuned.
Stay tuned. Until then, enjoy the wonderful storytelling of Cameron, Laura, and the very okay storytelling of myself.
Yes.
Also, Sera.
Sarah,
Well, no,
they've
Sarah-
gotten to know
Sarah.
Sarah.
Also, Sarah.
Sarah's
It's going to
coming
happen
back.
again. I get what you're saying now. I understand. I thought you were just doing like a little ending thing where you're like,
No,
hey,
I
we're
said
all great. But
Until then,
Yeah.
until Sarah comes
your
back.
time.
That's
I
the
got you.
antecedent.
I'm not editing any of this out, by the way, because
I-
they need
I
to
hope
see what we're
not.
like. They need to see
I
what
hope
we're
not.
like.
I have a hard time.
But yeah, thank you guys for joining us for this little end of campaign wrap up. We're going to keep doing these after every campaign, and stay tuned for our next campaign, which I am DMing, and you'll be coming to a little town called Gillyton. So stay tuned. Look out for the trailer for
Which-
that coming out soon.
Like, subscribe, Instagram, Twitter,
Please.
all the
Yes.
things. Also, there will be a link for the Discord underneath this video. So if you want to chat with us, we're available. We're normal people, as normal as that. Normal in the sense that we're not famous or rich.
I'm
Not
a normal
normal in the
person.
sense of like
You're not.
the normal. You know what I mean?
But the great news is, guys, is that we are spread across so many different time zones that no matter when you're on
somebody will
Discord,
always be
one
up.
of us will be awake.
If you messaged me, it gives me so much anxiety not to message you back. Also, I'm a roll a d10.
Don't give
That's
it
a
that.
6.
All
Yay!
right.
All right.
Hey.
So
Solid.
let's
You know
call
what that
it.
means?
Okay, bye.
No one knows what that means.
It's a good
Bye,
luck 6.
everybody. Good luck,
I
6.
am
All
in
right.
love with you.
Goodbye.